Hey guys, how are we doing? Crypto Insight UK here, bringing you back another video. So we've got a bit to talk about today. I'm going to talk about like a zoomed out perspective on XRP in 1 second. But before that, I'm going to talk about today. Today we have the White House, they're calling it a roundtable meeting, whatever, I don't know. But then in the night, last night, when I was asleep, well, obviously in the day for you guys, although it looks like evening time there over at the White House, Donald Trump signed an executive order about digital asset stockpile, Bitcoin strategic reserve, or Bitcoin reserve, and said that no new assets should be acquired by taxpayer money, like blah, blah, blah. So this has been like flip-flopping. With Donald Trump's been flip-flopping with what he's been almost feeding us. One day bullish, one day bearish, one day bullish, one day bearish. I find it very interesting that today's meeting in the White House is going to be at 4 p.m. and run, I think, until 7 or 8 p.m. US time. So into the market close, and then again, potentially a choppy and volatile weekend because the wider markets will be closed. So easier to move price around during the markets, the close of the market, in my opinion. And then what I said was, Ellis Rat then talked about that only they can only buy Bitcoin or something like that in one of the reserves. And then David Sachs then tweeted that's accurate. And then I said basically, so they can only buy Bitcoin, but maybe the focus tonight is going to be on utility. There's going to be more more executive orders signed by Trump tonight. And they can't utilize Bitcoin outside of storing it really, because what does it do? Yes, a transfer of value from A to B, but doesn't do anything else. Whereas the other assets that Trump's mentioned, Cardano, XRP, Solana, and Ethereum, can all be utilized in one way or another. For example, tokenization of assets on the XRP ledger and fast transactions, Cardano with smart contracts, cheap smart contracts, similarly to Solana, and then obviously XRP being having the EVM and the biggest virtual machine. So there are definitely utilization possibilities. That's just me stabbing in the dark at what I think is potential for tonight. I don't know. And the other thing that I basically said is Trump's been, as I said, flip-flopping. It feels like because he's signed this executive order saying they're not going to buy any more crypto, in inverted commas, specifically, it's like everyone feels like they're let down again by Trump. And this is kind of what we feel like has been happening, some negative, then some positive. So let's go through the storylines so far. Trump pre-election, I'll be the best Bitcoin and crypto president ever. Then nothing happens. Weeks later, after he's been inaugurated, etc., a Bitcoin strategic reserve is coming. Nothing happens. Weeks later, he then says XRP, Solana, and Cardano are in the reserve. And then a further message a bit later on. Oh, and of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then a week later, oh, actually, Bitcoin's in a separate reserve and we're not going to buy anything else. So then what is the next twist today? Like, I actually don't know. That's what I'm saying. One thing I will talk to you guys about is that Trump is very conscious of markets and also aware of his own, like how people perceive him. I've spoken about this in my newsletter today, and I've also dropped some absolute alpha that I'm not going to talk about until after the newsletter's released, because I would like you guys to read that. It's my favorite thing to do, write that newsletter every week, completely free. And the link's right there in the description. So right here, you just have to click that link to get free access to it. But what Trump basically says is like, he's obviously a business person and he likes business, like him or not. Clearly a successful business person, again, like him or not, and his strategies. But he's aware of the Bitcoin price, because we know this because when he came into power, he said, oh, look, the Bitcoin price has gone up because of me. And then now it's down. And now I'm going to get onto some T8. And so I just wanted to start with that. But like now the Bitcoin price is down. Oh, let me just delete some of this. This is some of the alpha that I was talking to you guys about, but we can't show you that right now because I want to talk about it after the newsletter's out. So maybe Trump, I don't think Trump is going to let the markets come down on his watch. He's very in tune with business in general. He understands markets. He understands business. Don't think he's going to let the S&P or the markets in general come down in the US. I think we're teeing up for an explosion to the upside. I talk about this in the newsletter as well. He's clearly aware of the Bitcoin price. And whether people like the fact that there's people been like insider trading as all that 50x leverage long on Hyperliquid came out. Whether they like that or not, it means that even people around him are also aware of what he's going to do, and that he's aware that what he says will move the market. So he's aware, and he knows that 66 million Americans hold crypto, and they were a massive part of his presidential campaign. And I presume he wants to do right by them, because that would only make sense as a politician. Even if you think he's a completely selfish person and he wants to get positive votes and be looked upon as a really positive president, then you would think that he would do right by the people who voted for him. So all those things taken into consideration. The weekly chart, we've fallen at the bottom of the range still. We need about a 3.8% improvement on Bitcoin to finish clearly back within the range, and to finish a green week, a 7% push by Sunday, and then you'll probably see a bullish cross on the stochastic RSI and a bounce on the weekly RSI. As I said, I think this is coming. I just feel like people are overly fearful, overly bearish. We've been talking about the fear and greed index all week. It's probably gone down today. No, 34, it's gone up a little bit, but like all week, last week we were in extreme fear, yesterday extreme fear, now we're just in fear. I think when it gets assessed tomorrow, especially after the executive order, it'll probably be back in extreme fear, depending on how long it takes for them to get that data. Then XRP, this thing is looking like it's ready to go, in my opinion. I've talked about shorter time frame movements in the newsletter. Sorry, I can't get my words out today, and now my laptop is going absolutely crazy. I don't know if you can hear that, guys. I don't know why. Don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, let's get into one thing I wanted to just share about XRP. Is like, when we had this run up in 2017 into the previous all-time high, and then we hit this resistance, we did chop around for a little while. Yes, we've chopped around for longer this time, but we did chop around and have a significant pullback before our next leg up. That's where I think we are right now. There's one thing that no one can take away from XRP, no matter whether they think it's bullish or bearish, and people are identifying a head and shoulders pattern at where we are now, and I don't think that we are in a head, or that the head and shoulders pattern will play out. We've never seen XRP hold price action at such a high level for so long. Like, maybe you can compare it to this period or this period. We've broken above a range and we haven't deviated back within the range, not once, and we've been up here for weeks. That's a sign of strength. Previously, when we've hit like these resistance levels, we've not been able to break them and we've just fell down. We fell down in the space of a few weeks. We've been up here above $2 for like, well, since December. And these moves happen extremely quickly when they come, and then we have a cool-off period, and extremely quickly when they come. Look, extremely quick when they come, cool-off period, extremely quickly when they come, cool-off period, extremely quickly when the moves come. And I've been saying $5 in March because that's what I believe. And yes, we're a week into March now, but what do we need? Like 2-3 weeks of positive price action? We could be at like $10 potentially. Actually, I'm going to show you what Cred said on Twitter yesterday. Was the other thing that I wanted to talk about. My mind's a bit scrambled because I've just written the newsletter, and I'm trying not to say everything that I've just written in the newsletter to you guys, because then what's the point in writing the newsletter? So my brain is still thinking about that. But last night, Cred tweeted this. XRP, big picture. He's essentially projecting that XRP could get up to $28 plus by the end of 2025 into 2026. He sees something similar to me, that when the moves happen, they happen pretty quick. And the next wave is the big one. This is what I've been saying to you guys. When we get the breakout of this range, which is this range here, when we get the breakout of this range, the next move is going to be explosive. Probably faster than this move in terms of percentage gain. I showed you this if we go to the daily time frame, that we've already had one day that's done a 32% candle here, and that's the biggest daily candle that we've had so far. And that's just while we're like working the range out. It's almost like a preview of what I think is going to come next. And then we've obviously we're continuing to range within this area. I said that this area yesterday, where we are right now, this grey box, is where you should be watching for potential reversals. What we've actually done is, on that executive order that Trump signed that people got a bit bearish about, we've actually taken all the liquidity from all this area here. All this has been just taken. Nice. And then if we get an aggressive bounce now to the upside, that would be fantastic. Flushed out all those people going long there, and then potentially pushing back to the upside. I'm in a position on XLM. I've spoken to you guys about this. I think XLM looks fantastic on the larger time frames. big bull flag here. We've pushed up, we've hit resistance, we're bull flagging. Stochastic RSI is back in the oversold area. We're sitting on top of support currently, and if I take us down to the 3-day, we're in this like parabolic sort of domed formation, getting ready for the 3-day to push up. And there's a little hint about what I wrote about in the newsletter, and you will see more details of that obviously on tomorrow. So what I was just going to finish on is this. We're just going to go to Velo. Velo talks to us about how people are positioned in terms of open interest. If my PC will load, open interest is like leverage in the market. And what we were discussing is, if it works, I don't know why my computer's going so crazy right now. Don't know if you can hear it or not. But looking at XRP, this is what I wanted to discuss on the daily time frame. Even more so now, look how negative the funding rate is. When we had negative funding on the daily, it's marked pretty much close to, if not the bottom. The last times really we had, let's get rid of these, because these are from ages ago. These are potential areas to dip into. Look at where my cursor is. Negative funding there on the daily. Negative funding here on the daily. And then this whole area here is negative funding-ish, like on and off. So this is basically showing us that when funding becomes heavily negative, specifically here, it's near a bottom. Essentially, funding is like where longs and shorts get paid by exchanges to try and balance books, meaning there's more shorts in the market right now because the shorts are being paid hugely negative funding, like with spot buying behind it as well. Things are really looking positive for me here, really looking positive for altcoins, specifically XRP in this occasion. And that contrasts Bitcoin actually. If we have a look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has been, okay, it had one dip into negatives on the 4-hour, but look how much the positive funding is here for Bitcoin, meaning people are in long positions here for Bitcoin, yet XRP, people are really heavily in short positions. So let's see what happens next. Why is that positive? Because if price action can move up while negative, while funding stays heavily negative, there's more people in short. So when they get stopped out or liquidated, if price gets to a certain price point, then we'll see a short squeeze, and that's what could start the aggressive move to the upside. I'm going to leave you with that. Hold on to your hats. I think things are about to get extremely volatile and extremely bullish for crypto, especially actually final thought, but I did talk about this in the newsletter as well. When you take into consideration the DXY has absolutely shit the bed the last few days, in fact this last week. That is a perfect foundation for crypto to move up. Let's see what happens next. I'm definitely not bearish whilst everyone else is. I'm sitting here thinking, let's go, I'm ready, and my bags are packed, I'm in a long position, my spot bags are ready. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but like I will take this potential play. As I said, it's looking for positive EV plays, and I think this is so positive EV. It's like where you're all in on the turn going into the river, and you've got the biggest combo draw you could possibly get. Maybe a straight flush in with an ace high. That's the sort of play that I think we're at the minute, and someone's bet like 5% of the pot or something. Lovely. That's where I think we are. I think we're about to see something wild. I don't think he'd be bringing everyone to the White House if he wasn't going to put on a show, because Donald Trump is a showman. So let's see what happens. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I feel like I found it hard to get my thoughts out today, but I hope you can see that I'm also excited. If you did enjoy, please do subscribe. Use my MXC link below if you would like to trade some leverage. Be careful on that. And yeah, peace up. A-Town down, as Crypto Insight UK would say.